If you crochet, you probably relate to this. You finish up a project only to be left with this much yarn, and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this much yarn? No way I'm gonna throw this much yarn away. But also, what project am I gonna make with this? So you stash it away along with all of your other yarn, and you wind up with not this much, but like bins full of scrap yarn that you have literally no idea what you're gonna do with. You can't really justify using it as scrap stuffing. By the way, that's what I use mine for, because God forbid I throw away any yarn. There is potential here. But for what? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you the perfect project that you can use your scrap yarn on. And bonus, you don't even have to whip out your crochet hooks. And for how easy it is to make, it surprisingly sells really well at my craft shows. Hey makers, welcome back to my channel. My name is Camryn, and like you, I run my own crochet business. I love making videos here on YouTube for you on exactly how to make more money in your crochet business. So if that interests you, I post a new video every single Friday. Be sure to subscribe down below. So this month, I'm actually participating in a yarn cleanse. That means I'm not buying any new yarn for the entire month, which has been quite the struggle so far, but it is the 12th and I still haven't bought any new yarn. I'm pretty proud of myself. So I'm trying to get through my stash, and you know what I've noticed is just a ton of random little bits of yarn. I just need to get through it. I need to get it gone. It's overwhelming. So when I was going through all my scrap yarn, I'm like, what in the world am I gonna do with all this? Then I remembered my keychain that I love to make for my markets. They sell really, really well, and it's actually not even a crochet project. It's just a little yarn tassel. This is seriously so easy. I'm gonna show you exactly how to make these in this video so you can start getting through some of your scrap yarn too. First things first, let's gather up all of our materials. I'll have everything that I used in this tutorial linked for you in the description box down below. I actually have another keychain tutorial here on YouTube, and I'm using the exact same keychain clasp, just FYI. When I said this project was easy, I was not lying to you. All we're gonna do is create a yarn tassel to start with. So I'm just gonna wrap my yarn around my hand. I like to keep my fingers a little bit spread. That way I'm getting longer wraps of yarn. Another thing you could do is wrap your yarn around a piece of cardboard. The number of times you wrap your yarn around your hand or your piece of cardboard, whatever you're using to wrap your yarn, really depends on the type of yarn that you're using. For me, with the velvet, which by the way, the velvet sells really well at markets, I like to wrap about 25 times. Once I'm done wrapping, I like to just trim that, and then I also just trim a whole new piece of yarn, at least a couple feet, sometimes even a little bit longer than that, and I'm going to put that between all of my loops, just like this, and that is when I'm going to start to tie a knot at the top. This is going to be the top of your tassel. And friendly reminder not to pull too tight when tying knots with velvet yarn, because it will snap on you. Once we're done securing the top of our tassel, we're actually going to trim all of those loops at the bottom of our tassel. So you have all these loops that are left over, and you can trim these before you tie the knot on the top, but with the velvet yarn, it tends to be pretty slippery, and I prefer to tie the knot on the top before I go and cut all my loops. But I will say, when you do it this way, it's a little bit harder to find all of your loops, especially with the velvet, because velvet, you know, we all know it's kind of hard to see what we're doing here, but I like to kind of go through, kind of comb through with my scissors and find all of the loops that I missed. We're gonna need another piece of yarn, probably about 1.5 feet-ish. And what I'm gonna do is lay that flat and lay my tassel actually on top of it. We're creating that kind of top area of the tassel where it almost looks like a little ball. So here I am setting the tassel on top of that strand, probably about 1 inch-ish down. Of course, you can play with this depending on how you want it to look, how large you want that top section to be, but that's about how far down I'll go on it, and I tie a knot. Just because I like to be extra careful about securing my projects before I sell them, I actually flip it over on itself just like this and tie another knot on the opposite side just to have some extra security there. Once we're done with that knot, those strands are going to be a lot longer than all of the other strands that were already hanging out of your tassel. So I just suggest to trim those, get them out of the way for now. We'll tidy up everything at the end, but they just bug me. So let's just give them a little trim right now before we move on to the next step. It's time to whip out your tapestry needle, and we're going to thread one of those strands that is coming out of the top of your tassel. It really doesn't matter which one, but the longer one is probably just going to be easier to work with. Now we're gonna pick out what beads we're gonna add to the top. I love to get my beads at Joann's, but I've also seen them for a pretty good deal on Amazon, so I'll link what I found down below. I love mixing and matching my beads together. It's a lot of fun. Now that we figured out what beads we're gonna put on there and what order we want them on there, we just thread them through with our tapestry needle. Personally, I don't paint my beads, I just leave them natural. My customers seem to really like this look, but if you wanna have some fun with painting them, I don't see why you couldn't. Now we're gonna turn this thing into a keychain by adding our clasps. So I'm just gonna go through this little loop area. Oh gosh, I'm so bad at voiceovers. Okay, you see what I'm doing here though. We are going into the keychain a few different times actually to just for sure secure this keychain. We are already so close to being finished. I'm just gonna take my tapestry needle back through those beads. It's just gonna additionally secure everything together. And what we wanna make sure we're doing after we pull that through the beads on our way back is to go back through the actual tassel in between that other knot so that the strand isn't just flying all over the place, it's actually becoming part of the tassel itself. And don't forget to do this with the other strand that we use to tie the knot at the top of our tassel. So I'm doing that here, taking my tapestry needle and going back through my tassel. It's gonna start incorporating back into the tassel. And of course, we're gonna need to trim those because they're a little bit longer than the rest of them. I love this part. It's probably my favorite part, and it's finishing off and tidying up the bottom of your tassel. I feel like I'm giving my tassel a haircut, and honestly, it's so much fun. No wonder, because fun fact about me, I actually thought that I wanted to be a hairdresser when I was a senior in high school. So hey, here I am channeling my inner hairdresser. Since you can use different weights of yarn on this project, I suggest playing around with the amount of time you wrap it around your hand. Here on the left, I only wrapped it 15 times since it was a bit chunkier. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in today's video, my friends. I hope you had a lot of fun learning how to make this adorable little keychain. I hope they sell well for you. If you want more videos like this one, be sure to like and comment down below. Let me know how you liked today's video, and I would love to keep hanging out with you here on YouTube. If you want to keep hanging out, I suggest checking out this video next. I think you're really going to like it. So I will see you, my friend, in this video right here. Bye!